Hey Belal, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. You were at some weigh-ins or something today, right now, right?
Yeah, I was at the VFC weigh-ins.
Oh, all right. You got a teammate fighting?
Yeah, I got a couple teammates fighting on that one. I got Oscar fighting JP St. Louis, and then the main event's Kevin Novacek.
Nice. And you're gonna be cornering anybody?
Yeah, I'm cornering Kevin and Oscar.
Awesome. Let's talk about your fight. You're taking on Niko Price at UFC Utica, New York, June 1st. About a week before UFC Chicago. I know you wanted on the Chicago card, so why weren't you able to get on it? I know you've been trying. Did the UFC even try to offer you anybody, or what happened?
I tried to get on that card. I was pushing for that card. It would have been nice to get on that card, but they just told me, hey, we really want you to be on this Utica card, so I'm not gonna sit there and complain about it. I'm just happy to get a fight going. So. In the end, maybe it would have probably worked out for the best, regardless, because I was already getting probably like 50 to 60 people. Hey, can I get free tickets? Can I get free tickets when it comes to Chicago? And that was before I even signed a contract. So I said maybe it's a blessing that I'm not on the Chicago card, so I don't have to hear the headache of fight week of everybody asking me for tickets.
And two of your teammates are on there, Sergio Pettis and CM Punk, whose fight was just made official. What can you tell us about CM Punk and how he's been looking at the gym?
Man, honestly, he's one of the hardest workers at the gym. I feel like everybody's going to see like a whole new fighter when he gets back in the cage, and everybody's going to be surprised. You had a lot of haters after his first fight saying that he didn't belong in there, yada yada yada. But he fought Mickey Gall, and like Mickey Gall showed that he's a good fighter. So he's a real fighter. He's not a guy that should be fighting somebody that's 1-0. And he went out there, beat Sage Northcutt, made him look bad as well. So it's not like it was an easy task for him to go in there his pro debut, not even an amateur fight or anything, to go on there and take a guy a brown belt. So I feel like this is a better test for him, and he's gonna go out there and show what he's learned.
And have you ever trained with him personally, like sparring, wrestling, or anything at all?
Yeah, I do everything with him. He's at every practice. We're training, rolling, kickboxing, striking, everything.
Oh, nice. And like you said, because there are a lot of people hating, but this Chicago card having CM Punk is definitely going to help in terms of pay-per-view buys and just eyes overall on the card.
Yeah, exactly. People doesn't belong. He doesn't do this. Why is he on the card? Why is he on the pay per view? It's all about money. That's what it is. It's entertainment business, and he's one of the most popular guys in the world. So, everybody could hate, but unless you're bringing in money, don't say anything.
Absolutely. And let's talk about you. You last fought in November in Australia. You beat a very tough Tim Means and arguably the biggest win of your career. How would you assess your performance in your last fight?
It was actually a pretty good performance. I felt I should have went in there a lot harder on that one, but I learned a lot from that fight. Tim Means was one of the toughest guys I feel in the division, striking wise. I feel like he's one of the most well-rounded strikers in the division and one of the scariest strikers in the division. And I went in there and stood up with him toe to toe the whole fight. So I felt like I went in there, proved what I can do. And I feel like now just getting to that comfort level where I'm just going to go into every fight and keep getting better every one.
Absolutely. And now that you're fighting in June, that's a 7 month layoff for you. Why so long? I mean, were you dealing with any nagging injuries? I remember you mentioning to me that you were opening a gym.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm in the process of opening a gym.
Yeah.
Still right now, and actually like literally probably like maybe like 2 weeks before the Tim Means fight, I actually like tore my meniscus. So I was gonna go in there. I went into the fight with a torn meniscus, and I wanted to hold off on any surgery or anything like that because I wanted to get another fight. But then, like I said, I was gonna do like this whole gym situation, opening up a gym, and then so I said, all right, I wasn't gonna get anything until April anyway. So I said, forget it, I'll just get the surgery done. It put me out for about 2 months out of training. So just being out 2 months and then getting back right now, June is actually works perfect for me.
Nice. And tell me a little bit about this gym. Is it an MMA gym, a fitness gym, or what kind of gym?
It's actually a UFC gym, so it's gonna be one of
Oh, okay.
the UFC gym franchise.
Oh, awesome. Chicago?
Yeah, it's gonna be in Chicago. It's gonna be around here. It's gonna be me and my brother opening it up, so it's gonna be cool.
Very cool. That's awesome. And let's talk about your matchup. You're taking on Niko Price. What do you think of him as an opponent? How would you break down his skill set? Before you answer that question, were you offered anybody else before Niko?
No, I wasn't offered anybody else. I actually went down there to Vegas when I was doing my rehab to the UFC Performance Institute, and actually I had a meeting with Sean Shelby, and I was just trying to see what he had in mind, and he brought up Nico's name. I said that's the perfect name for me to fight. So he said, all right, that sounds good. I get that one going. And he ended up just giving me the fight for June. When I was down there probably in March, and then that's when he told me I was going to have it. He said, "You're going to have Niko, but I just don't know the date yet." So I said, "All right." So I was just happy with that. I mean, he's a good name to fight. He's one of those guys that brings a fight every time, and it's funny because I had like a personal story with him where it's one of those where one of my friends works like at a protein company in Chicago, and like she goes around everywhere to at all these protein events, and then she said that Niko Price once came to her protein stand and like try to get free protein from her. And she's like, "Why should I give you free protein?" And he said, "Because I'm a UFC fighter." He said, "So I don't care. What does that mean?" And he said, "Oh, you don't know me? Trust me, you're gonna know me." He said, "I already know UFC fighters." He said my name, and he said, "Who the hell is that? I don't know him. He's probably gonna get cut soon." So it's gonna be funny bringing this one up. When he brought me the name, I just started laughing at it.
Well, that's very, very interesting. I'd love to see what his reaction would be for that. And, you know, when you look at the matchup, I mean, is there a specific focus in this training camp for you? I mean, how do you see this fight playing out?
Honestly, man, I feel like I'm better everywhere in this fight. I feel like I'm going to go in there and put it on him, and I'm going to show that I'm at another level than all these other guys right now. I'm going to show that I should be belonging within the top 5 of the division. So after this fight, I think my name's going to be out there where it's going to be like in title talks after this fight. People are going to be saying, this guy's definitely going to be one of those contenders coming up.
Yeah, because that would be 4 in a row. So should you win this fight, I mean, do you feel like it's time for a ranked opponent next?
Yeah, man, I'm really going to be pushing for the loser of the Dos Anjos and Covington fight. I'm just trying to get my hands on Covington. So, I mean, somebody has to lose that fight. I know the winner is probably going to fight for Woodley, and the loser is going to have to bounce back off somebody. So, definitely, I'm hoping that Covington loses. But, I mean, Dos Anjos be one of my teammates anyway, so I can give him one of those back too.
All right, so you like that match regardless, whether Colby or Dos Anjos win, you like either one of those guys next?
Yes, I like either one of those matchups.
Nice, and you're going to be fighting during Ramadan where you'll be fasting, correct? I mean, it seems that every practicing Muslim fighter avoids fighting in Ramadan except you. I mean, does it not make a difference for you having to train and cut weight while fasting?
I mean, it makes a difference, but I feel like it's one of those that it makes me stronger mentally, man. Like, everybody out here is always looking for an edge. You got all these fighters out here looking for edges. Most of these guys are looking for an edge with steroids or different supplements, man. I'm looking for my edge spiritually and mentally, man. If you have a strong mentality, strong mind where I could train and push myself to a whole nother levels without eating or drinking, man, the fight's nothing. So I could go in that fight on a whole nother level than my opponent.
And it's pretty hard because I want people to understand. I mean, I have trouble playing pickup basketball, let alone having to train for a fight or cut weight. So what do you do differently? I mean, what would you have to change?
Honestly, it's basically when it's time to eat and when it's time for me to break my fast, I have to go about it the smart way when I rehydrate. So I'm going at it basically like I just cut weight, where I'm drinking a whole Pedialyte. I'm making sure I'm getting my electrolytes in. I have to eat clean. I'm not sitting there most of the time when I'm fasting, and I don't have a fight or anything coming up. I'm eating anything that's in front of me. So now it's just being smart about it, eating the right things where I can put the right fuel inside of me so I could have the energy to train the next morning or next afternoon. Because like most people will sit there and say, why don't you just change your training to nighttime or anything like that, man? But like I said, it's one of those where I want to push myself mentally to a whole nother level of being able to train and push myself to next level than my opponent. So I'm going to sit there and train without drinking or eating. And hopefully it'll just take me to the next step.
And when Sean Shelby comes to you and says June 1st, I mean, do you have any hesitation taking it because of Ramadan, or for you, do you welcome it? It's because you're making it sound like it's nothing. I want people to understand. I mean, those who don't, I mean, it's a really very difficult thing.
Yeah, no, honestly, because it was one of the last fight when I fought Jordan Main last year.
Yeah.
I literally did my whole camp during Ramadan. So this one it's only basically 2 weeks. So it's one of the where I've been through it so much. And like I used to play football in high school. I used to wrestle all the time. So it's one of those where I always did it my whole life. Where I would never stop doing anything during it. So I'm always training, always doing this, that, and then just having the right people around me. Like I have my coaches that are like if they see me where I look drained or something like that, they'll make me go lighter, or they'll stop me from doing going as hard as I want. Because I'm the type where if somebody wants to go hard with me, I'm gonna go twice as hard with them. So I'm always gonna be pushing myself to my training partners. So I have the right people watching over me, telling me, all right, I think you should take a light this time. Take a light today, or today we're just gonna hit mitts or something like that. I mean, it's a process. It's a tough process. I mean, it's not easy by any means, but only the strong survive in this game.
And since you've done it before, I mean, last year you said when you're training for Jordan, a weight cut's never easy anyway. But when you compare it while fasting and just a regular, what differences did you notice? Is there anything that you'd want to do differently compared to the last few weeks? I mean, you said it's only a couple weeks, but would you do anything differently from your experience last year fighting while fasting?
Well, last year I feel like I got the right formula down. The year before that, I actually fought Joe Van, and I had to cut weight during it where I was fasting. So that was a pretty bad one. Then last year I got the formula down pretty good. So I feel like this year is going to be a lot easier.
Nice, and you're fighting in New York again. This is like your third time. I mean, everybody wants on the New York cards and talks about the crowd. People have had a little bit of an issue with the commission because we've seen sometimes a bit of like, it seems like every single time there's something going on in New York, just different circumstances. But for you personally, what's it like getting to fight in New York one more time?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I had both my teammates, Paul Felder and Anthony Pettis, both had to go through that last week.
Yeah.
With the New York commission, and neither one of them getting a fight. I mean, it's tough, but it's like one of those where, like you said, it just got sanctioned in New York, the fighting. So they still have, it's a process for them. They're still gonna have to learn. They're gonna make mistakes because they've never dealt with it. They've never been through it, and then everybody's gonna feel like they have their own way of dealing with stuff. So I feel like it's not gonna be a simple time fighting in New York for probably in the next 5 years or something like that, when they get it down packed like Vegas or any other really good fight states.
And in terms of just it being New York City, just being so big for all sports and all the history there is, you fought pretty much everywhere. For you, do you see a difference? I mean, do you enjoy fighting in New York?
Yeah, I love fighting in New York, man. It just reminds me of Chicago. Besides the traffic, and I love fighting there. The people, I like the people over there. Everybody, I feel like there's a big Middle Eastern crowd down there, and I have a lot of fans down there. So it feels good when I go down there and I'm getting cheered on. When I know half my people can't come or make the trip down there, so it feels good to know that I have a community down there that'll still support me.
And speaking of the Middle East, I mean, the UFC, I mean, different people in the UFC have been telling me every single time that they're going to go to Abu Dhabi. It doesn't seem like it's one of their main interests. They did tell me that they would in 2017. They didn't. They told me that they would in 2018. I mean, the schedule isn't fully announced, but I mean, if they do eventually this year or the next year, I mean, what would it mean for you to ever get the opportunity to fight in the Middle East and in front of the Middle Eastern crowd?
Man, that would be amazing, and I would love that more than fighting in Chicago, man. That would be a whole nother level, man. Because that's one of those where, like, even now, like, I'm trying to get my boy, my Oscar.
Yeah.
He's like my little brother, and he's fighting, and I'm trying to get him to fight for Brave just so I could get down there and just embrace that crowd and just feel what those guys feel down there when they're fighting in front of those people.
When is the last time you've been to the Middle East, if ever?
It's been about 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I go to Palestine, so that's where I'm from. So I go down there,
nice.
Palestine, Ramallah. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So you still got family there?
Yeah, I still got family down there. My mom goes down there probably like once a year just to visit her mom. So, but now they're back in America now, so they're probably gonna be going back there soon during the summer.
Awesome, because I've never been personally, and I'd love to go. I mean, being from there myself, so yeah. I mean, I was wondering because like having you as a UFC fighter, you know, a Palestinian UFC fighter, it means a lot to the Middle East, not only Palestine but just the Middle East in general. So, I mean, would you? Because the UFC, they have been to Abu Dhabi before, but it seems like if a guy like you can get into the rankings and make some noise and show them that, you know, we need to get a card down there in the Middle East. I mean, do you ever think of talking to the UFC about that? I mean, is that something that you could be a headliner? I mean, once you get a ranking next to your name.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, I honestly want to bring to the Middle East and what like Conor McGregor brought to Ireland. Yeah. Or like what's Darren Till is bringing to Liverpool, and like I want to be at that level where once I get into the rankings and I'm getting to get close to title contention, they're going to be bringing me down there to headline, and it's going to be a sold out arena. That's the level I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, because I went to a Brave show in Jordan, and they always talk about the Jordanian crowd being one of the more passionate crowds in the Middle East. And it was true. I feel that the knowledge of MMA is definitely growing in the Middle East, especially Jordan, and obviously Jordan being so close to Palestine. It's definitely something that the UFC should consider.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be huge for him. Just hitting that market, just bringing those fans in there, man, because it's a huge market down there, and especially now, there's a lot more gyms opening up down there. It's starting to become a big thing down there in Palestine too. So there's a lot more gyms, a lot more younger MMA fighters of Middle Eastern descent, like hitting me up. Hey, I'm from Palestine. I just want to let you know that I'm training, and I just want to be like you. And it just hits you in the heart when you get messages like that. And you're like, damn, I didn't know that I was hitting people like that.
Absolutely, Belal. I appreciate the time. One last thing before I let you go. How do you see this fight with Niko playing out? How do you get the job done?
I see me going in there and finishing him, man. I'm going in there. I'm coming in there for a finish, and I'm coming in there to finish him violently. So just make sure everybody's staying tuned because I feel like it's going to be a quick one.
Awesome. Well, Belal, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I think this has like Fight of the Night written all over it. I know you guys prefer Performance of the Night over Fight of the Night. I feel like this fight's got Fight of the Night written all over it. You'll take on, of course, Niko Price, June 1st, UFC Utica. Thank you so much for your time, and best of luck June 1st.
Appreciate it. Thank you.